Hey guys, it's Troy.
And Matthew.
And you know what? We have come home from the Triangle Pen Show 2022. And you know, these are the flyers that they sent out. Today actually started yesterday, Thursday? No, it started Thursday, really, technically.
Yeah.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Today's Saturday as we're recording this. But it's the 19th annual Triangle Pen Show. So it's running June the 2nd through the 5th. 70 tables of vendors on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tonight, they're having a vintage pen auction, and I gotta be honest with you, I would love to be there tonight. I've taken a look at what they've got for the auction pens, and I really wish it was in my budget, you know. But alas, I haven't stuck around for one just because usually, you know, my disposable income is either spent at the show itself, but I would love to be able to stop by sometime and actually do the auction kind of thing. But today, so, you know, you and I did a quick recording in the car before we went in. And one of the things that we said was, you know, the parking lot is more packed than normal.
Yeah, we'd park in another hotel owned by Hilton.
But quite honestly, it wasn't as crowded as it seemed it was going to be when we saw cars parked up and down the street, and not a single parking space was open at the Venue Hotel. And right next to it is another Hilton-owned hotel. We had to actually park there. But you know, still, it was a decent crowd.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't bad at all. It's not crowded as it looked at first when we were outside.
It was packed. I had trouble getting around to where, like, when I went to go get a cup of water, I had trouble getting back to them. I almost lost them.
Yeah, so they had a decent attendance, but it wasn't as, I guess it's not as crowded as we've seen it, but it's certainly not as dead as it's been before, too. So, you know, it wasn't too bad. It was a nice turnout, and talking to some of the vendors, some of them have had some good, strong sales while we're there. I talked to Frank at Federalist Pens, and he said it was actually pretty good for a Saturday. And talked to another guy who said it was a little slow, that it didn't go in the morning as briskly as he thought it might, but still, you know, not a bad pen show. Hey, speaking of pen shows, as long as we're talking about it, there's a new pen show that's coming out this year, and I met the guy who's organizing it, but in Orlando.
Ooh.
2022 coming up. I wouldn't mind going to the OrlandoPenShow.com. We've already been to
September 8th through 10th.
Yep, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So a 3-day pen show in Orlando. We've already been to Orlando once this year.
To go to Disney.
Yeah, actually, you know, like that's where I got like this coffee mug here.
And then we also went to SeaWorld. I got a cup with Cookie Monster.
Right. So, you know, I would really like to go back, but this year is not a great year for me in terms of travel and finance. It's just been a lot tighter in terms of schedule, which, by the way, is some of the why we haven't done as many videos here lately. I just haven't had the influx of pens. I've got some that I'm still planning on doing for pen videos. Matter of fact, I was going to do a pen video on this one right here.
Don't.
He doesn't want me to talk about it because he broke it.
It was on accident. I was trying to put this thing back right here, and then it fell.
Yeah, he broke it. A laboof. And I had planned on doing this pen video. I'm not anymore. He broke it. He broke it.
Luke Skywalker broke it. He used the Force.
Before I could even do a video on it, he broke it! So.
No, Luke used the Force. He had just knocked it off.
So anyway, we didn't do a lot. We actually spent more time at the pen show than we normally do in Raleigh together as, I can't say a couple.
Yeah, because we're not dating. We're just father and son.
But as a team, we spent more time there talking to people, going around. Matter of fact, I've got a lot of footage here on my little GoPro camera, and I don't know how good it is yet, but I pretty much wore the battery down on my GoPro, so we'll put up another video of the walkthrough, because the first thing we do when we go to a pen show is we do a perimeter and then go inside again.
Yeah.
And there weren't as many rows to go down, but I did do a video of a walkthrough and took some pictures along with it, so we'll do another video that I won't make it part of this video, And if it is part of this video, it'll be at the end kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it may be a while before this video comes out. I'm not sure. Still working on it.
We did a walkthrough, talked to a couple of people, then we started doing some shopping.
Yep, so we typically don't do the shopping until we do a full walkthrough. And what that gives us is the opportunity to do is, as we're walking, say
Look
hi to
around.
people. Yep, we get to scope the place out. We get to lay eyeballs on a few things that we know we might want to come back for.
Say hi to some friends.
That's right. And there's a lot of people faces that I knew, names that I knew, and that knew us. And some of you, our viewers, saw us there and had commented that, hey, I know you from your YouTube channel. So thank you guys, by the way, for watching. We really do appreciate that. And spread the word so this channel can continue to grow. Okay? So, anyway, it gives us a chance to do the video, to actually record, but it gives us a chance to scope things out and not to stop and spend all of our money at one place, kind of thing. Especially with a stretched budget like we've got this year, you're going to see we don't have a lot of stuff that we bought, but you, as our viewer, you're going to benefit from our visit to the pen show this year.
Yep.
So, where do we want to start? Why don't we start with some of the...
You want to start with
Okay, we'll do the ink. Well, Matthew has a favorite brand and color of ink, apparently.
Yep.
And so he kept jonesing on it. He kept asking me to buy it. So
I was pestering him. I just said, can we get this? Can we get this?
yeah, and he kept holding up this.
Roshizuku. Wait. I'm going to try and pronounce this name. Marusaki Shikibu.
Nice try, Murasaki
oh.
Murasaki Shikibu.
Yeah, I think it's Japanese.
Yes, and it is a Japanese company.
Produced by Pilot. It's
Yes.
a Roshizuku purple.
Right. So we actually have back here on the shelves behind us a little bottle of it about that big. Maybe it's a little like that big, and not much ink left in it.
But
So
it's
I know,
my favorite ink.
but I've already done an ink swatch of it, so it's here in my collection. But tends to be one of his favorite inks that we've used, and he's asked me to put it in several pens. So he begged for me to buy him a bottle of that. So there's that.
Do you want to go like?
No,
that,
let's do this next.
Okay.
Now, I've got some active pen pals that I write back and forth. Matter of fact, I've got 2 letters here that I got earlier in this week. I haven't even opened them yet on purpose because I didn't want to open them and even think about writing back until after this pen show.
So that you can say what you got.
So yeah, so I can share about the pen show and give me yet another thing to write about. In writing, I've got some smaller paper, and I've tried a bunch of different papers. I've tried some Ayush recently. I've tried Rhodia, Clairefontaine. I've done Tamaway River, and I've seen Life paper out there. I've got some samples of that. But I got to be honest, the more I use Clairefontaine, the more I like Clairefontaine, and seems to be, I think, my favorite paper. I think of all the papers that I've checked out, tried, played with, experimented with over the years, I've gone back to Clairefontaine after trying some others.
Some lined Clairefontaine.
And I wanted lined paper for letter writing. So Crazy Allen's Emporium. We stopped over at Crazy Allen's. Now, Alan is out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and it's always great to see Alan at a pen show. And it's always great to see him alive, up and around, and walking around, okay? So, I like Alan. I purchased from him. We've stopped by his shop, so I've purchased not only pens at his shop and paper. I buy from him almost every time we go to a pen show. I've got, like Rhodia dot pads that I use when I do writing samples. I usually buy from Alan, and I've got some of those still on the shelf because I stocked up pretty well. But this Clairefontaine size paper right here, this full size, is what I was looking for, and Alan had it. I kind of figured he would. And, this Clairefontaine is very similar to another pad that I've got, and that just happens to be what I'm really liking. So, That was another purchase. So far, only 2 purchases, right?
Yeah, but we visit Allen's Emporium every time we're in the area.
We did. Now, here's what I was looking for at the pen show I couldn't find, all right? I brought a couple of problem pens that I was looking for something specific. And I talked to a bunch of different vendors who work with these.
A bunch.
I whipped these pens out. I figured I'm just going to bring them this time so we can talk about it. Maybe someone can put me in a lead to somebody who might have it. But, I've got this old Conklin crescent filler. And I'm looking for the lock ring that goes right here. And doggone it, I'm not having any luck, and I haven't for a couple of years trying to find a lock ring. So that's one thing I went looking for.
A nice pen, you just need some repair parts.
And it writes great, right? Well, another pen that I picked up some time ago was this. It's a Waterman Hemisphere, right?
I have one.
Yeah, I do too. But this is not a fountain pen. It's not a roller ball. That is a black marker or a felt tip, and it actually takes a cartridge that I've been looking for. So I went around, I kept looking at all the tables to see if I could find this, and this particular one is by Levenger. And I use Sharpies a lot,
But you like that better?
but this actually, instead of using a Sharpie, I kind of like to whip out my Waterman Hemisphere. And I was looking all over the place, and I looked in the DC show last year. I looked in the Raleigh show. So I brought the pen so people can see the cartridge that goes in it. Haven't had any success trying to find that either. So, those were the 2 things that I was looking for at this show. Instead, kept walking around, and I enjoy talking to Mike Daigle. And Mike is on a lot of the Facebook message boards or groups on fountain pens, and also I purchased from Mike over the years on eBay. So he does an eBay shop as a real big hobby of his of restoring and selling pens, right? And last year at the Raleigh show, so 1 year ago, I was walking around and I saw one guy selling off some vintage pens at his table, and I picked up a Wall Eversharp Deco band in a black and pearl, and I rather liked it. And it was a decent price. I mean, really good price.
It sounds nice.
And it is, and that's probably right here behind us in these drawers. Well, another month or 2 later, we're in DC, and Mike is set up there, Mike Daigle, and he had a bunch of pens laid out, and it happened to be a lot of them were from Cliff Harrington, who had passed away. And Mike and Cliff had gotten to be friends. And I knew Cliff. I had bought from Cliff, had some great conversations with Cliff. So all these pens were from his estate. And I picked up a blue Wall Eversharp Deco band.
I like the color blue.
And brought it home, went to write with it, wrote horribly. But one of the things that Mike had told me is, I don't know what condition these are in, and they have not been restored that he knows of. Okay? Tore it apart, restored it, and it became one of the best writing pens in my collection. And it's a vintage pen from like the early 30s or so. And great writer, really liked it. It kind of have almost an oblique stub to it. And great pen. It's behind us. I'd think about getting it, but I don't want him to break it.
Do you want me to get it?
I do not. So I stopped by and had a nice conversation with Mike. Mike knows who I am, so he knows my face. He knows my name, and I know him a little enough where I've seen him around. We've interacted with, and I've bought from him in the past, so we know each other enough to say, "Hey, Mike," "Hey, Troy," kind of thing. How you doing? So, stopped by and looked at some of the pens that some of which he still had some left over from Cliff Harrington's collection. And there were some that I really, really liked. Some were way out of my price range. But there was this one right here. Another Wall Eversharp Deco band. Now, I want a modern one. And I really didn't see any at all these vendors. I didn't see any modern ones. And those modern ones ain't cheap. And I've looked at them. I still am thinking about it. But last year at the Raleigh show were a bunch of them. This year, not so much. But so I got this one. And what I liked about this one, believe it or not, And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but it's got a beautiful nib on it. I don't know the condition of it yet. I haven't tried it out yet. I haven't tried to fill it. I haven't checked on the sack or anything like that because it's, again, don't know the condition, but might cut me a deal on it. And this one has a manifold nib. Manifold simply means that it's a rigid or a stiff nib. So it's not a flexible nib. And I like manifold nibs on vintage pens. I've got several Watermans in various sizes with manifold nibs, and I personally like them. So I figured I'd go ahead and take the risk and go ahead and get that particular Wahl Eversharp Deco band. My third vintage Wahl Eversharp Deco band, but this time with a manifold nib. So that was my shopping. And we're going to show you a couple of pens, one of which you're going to benefit from, but not today. But it's coming.
It's a surprise.
It's no secret from some of the videos that I've done and the interactions that we've had that we've developed a friendship with Jim Hines out of Texas. I've had the chance to have dinner with Jim several times. My family sat down with him. Jim
He's a nice guy.
And Jim knows my family. I've had the opportunity to go down to Texas and spend time with like Larry from Larry's Fountain Pens in the Fort Worth Pen Club, and Jim came and we had dinner there again. So
That's some nice food.
Yep. So Jim was at the Raleigh show, and a couple things about Jim. He's come a long way in his pen making, and I've kind of stuck by Jim a little bit almost from the start when he was hooking up with and talking with our friend Larry down in Texas, because like they were like Dallas Fort Worth area together. And so I bought some pens from Jim, and I've got, I think in the family we had like what, 5 or 7 of them.
Wait, let me think. My Beacon, my Glacier.
Yeah, so you got a Beacon and a Glacier, and I've got a Beacon, and I've got another one, and your mom has like 3. So so I think we got like 6 or 7 Jim Hines pens. Look at the last Jim Hines video that I've done, and I think I counted them up like 7 in the family. So we stopped, and Jim and I had been talking about he wanted to do a giveaway with me on this YouTube channel. So we talked about that, and we'll tell you about it here momentarily. But he, little beggar.
I didn't beg. I was just hinting.
Yeah, hinting.
There's a difference. I just said this looks nice. This looks
This
nice.
guy kept picking up almost every pen that Jim had and shoving him in my face. What do you think about this one? What do you think about this? This one's my favorite over here. I like this one. I really like this one. So he had even said on the way there, he really wanted me to lend him, quote, lend him. Yeah, I got some ink on my fingers for
I
this.
won't pay him back.
Yeah, so,
I don't have a job.
yeah, you do now. It's cutting grass.
I already do.
But so, he had already told me that number one, his favorite pen maker is Jim.
Yep.
And Jim makes some fine quality pens.
Yeah, he does an amazing
And
job.
Jim's to be applauded for the quality that he puts into his pens. He's gotten better. He's improved over the years. He's taught other people how to make pens.
His girlfriend.
And he's gone into business with his girlfriend where she had been doing pen sleeves, and she's been pouring acrylics and developing new flavors, so to speak, of pens.
She does a good job.
And she does. She does a very good job. And there's also some things that are coming up with Jim I'm not at liberty to talk about because I don't have from Jim whether that was supposed to be public knowledge or not. But there's some partnerships that you may see coming and some expansion that you may see coming. So all that's good news for the pen community, for Jim, and hopefully for us just knowing Jim, that we get to see new stuff that we get to buy, play with, talk about here.
And my birthday's coming up in July, so I might be able to buy stuff from Jim again.
Yeah, so if we end up going to DC, maybe he'll have more cash and he can buy him another. I mean, I know people who are Franklin Christoph fanatics, and they'll buy Franklin Christoph pen after FC pen after FC pen. Some people are Waterman fanatics. Some people are Parker fanatics.
He's a Waterman fanatic.
Yeah, I have a lot of Watermans. As a matter of fact, there was one Waterman display case today.
It was
I
nice.
wanted it bad.
It was expensive.
But she wanted $600, and I would love to have had it, but I didn't have the budget.
Yeah.
I just didn't. It was a beautiful lighted display
Yeah.
case that you would have seen at a store
It held
in like the
40
1940s.
pins, and it held 40 pins.
And it had
each.
40 pens to display, and I can more than fill that up.
Yeah.
But it's, so it's something I wanted, but, all right, side note. So he's one of those Heinz guys.
Yep.
So he had already said he wanted to buy something from Jim.
Well, I wanted him to.
Yeah, he wanted me to buy it for him.
Yeah.
So, we walked out with some, and these are the new boxes that Jim has. So if you look at my last video about a Jim Heinz pen, he had an old metal box. These are the new ones.
Are nice.
These are the newer boxes that Jim is using. So HeinzPens.com, proudly made in Texas. It's like all over the
Everything's
country.
greater in Texas.
So I'll let Matthew show it from here.
Wait, and as Jim said, things that are made in Texas are one thing greater than what is made in America.
Yeah, that's more or less what he said. I don't know if it was the exact verbiage, but
It probably wasn't the exact words. It was something along those lines, though.
okay. So anyway, this is what he found that he wanted, and so we ended up buying. Jim cut us a deal, and here it is.
It is... Oh, okay, so there. This was probably one of my favorite ones at his table. It has some red, some silver, and some black in it.
Keep it in camera frame, everybody.
Has some red, some black, some silver in it. And this one has a roller ball to stop it from rolling.
Oh, a roll stop.
Yeah, a roller stop.
Well, it's a clip.
Yeah. But it is a B24 lipstick and leather.
It's got because Jim and I were talking about the old songs from, songs Lipstick and Leather, and so this one here. Go ahead and show the Jim has that right there, the little medallion that he started putting on all of his pens.
There, trying to get a good angle.
So it's a pretty nice acrylic. It's a pretty acrylic.
That's good.
I don't know how well this camera and this lighting actually picks up, because we got some decent lighting, but
From what I'm looking at, it looks like a good angle to where you can see the design. Right there.
Okay, but show the acrylic though. I want him to get a really good look at the acrylic, the red, the body of it.
Okay, so that right there.
So it's got a little bit of shimmer to it.
As I said earlier, has some silver,
Keep it in the frame.
some
There
silver,
you go.
some red and black.
So you can see why he calls it lipstick and leather.
Yep, the red lipstick color, and then
Black leather.
yeah, this was probably one of his finest pens at his table, in my opinion.
Right.
As soon as I set eyes on it, it was true love. Love at first sight.
All right, and here he was carrying with him to the pen show a Jim Heinz Glacier
Yeah.
model. So
Would you like me to go get it?
no, that's all right. Don't worry about that, bud.
But now I have 3 Jim Heinz pens in my collection.
Right. All right. Now here's what's coming up for you. Another Jim Heinz pen, and Jim had wanted me to take this pen, and I'm just going to show it right now. I'm not going to do a review of it just yet, but Jim wanted me to take this pen, wanted me to review it, and share it with you, and then do a giveaway of this right here. All right, this is the Erst, E-R-S-T-E.
I will get it up right now. It's the L12 Erst Plum.
Yeah, and that is the plum color. Yeah, it comes in several different colors. Yeah, you don't need to show it.
Yeah, you can't.
But that's all right.
Oh, I texted myself.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, they had several different colors. A lot of them are kind of pastel looking, and I think he said Erst stood for spring. I thought it was like the German word for spring.
It is in German.
And so anyway, this is a little on the smaller side. So Jim wanted to come out with a slightly smaller pen.
I should probably on this website what it means.
But yeah. Now this particular pen is like a $160 pen.
Erst means first in German.
First, okay. So this is what he wanted us to give away. So he went ahead and put this together for us, right there at his table, and he said, because he said, I want to give you a pen for you to take, for you to review, and then to give away on your channel. And I said, Jim, I'll do that for whatever model you would like to promote and you want to share and you think people would like to have. So he said, I think the Erst, and I think that's one of his newer models that he just came out with. And so you will see this pen, the Erst in Plum. You'll see it again, okay? And I'll do a full review of this pen, and in the not too distant future, it won't be too far along, we'll do a giveaway for you on this YouTube channel. So, okay, there we go. It wasn't a huge pen haul for us. Quite honestly, my budget this time around, my disposable income for this show, a lot smaller than I was used to. So I'm used to walking in with a lot more cash, and did not have it this time around. So, but that's what we got. So we got one writing pad, one bottle of ink, one vintage pen. We got one modern pen for Matthew, and
thank you.
And we got one pen to give away to you sometime soon. So
Enjoy.
Orlando Pen Show's coming up. I don't know if we're going to make it to that. I wouldn't mind going. There's some other pen shows. DC.
Chicago.
I would love to go to the DC show again this year. It's still upcoming. Don't know if we're going to make it or not, just because of timing with my wife's work schedule now that she has, after 13 years, gone back into the workforce by choice. She decided that she wanted to do that, so which is fine with me. But that kind of changes a little bit our dynamics and our availability to be able to travel as a family. But and also, you know,
she has to work summer school.
How? So we'll see how things go. But that's it. Questions, comments, leave them here. And like I said, I'll try to do the walkthrough video, and I'm probably going to make that a separate video and post that. And it'll just be a simple walkthrough and some pictures. And I took some pictures, not a tremendous amount. Saw a lot of familiar faces there, some faces that you will know from YouTube, from other people who have YouTube channels. They were there walking around. You know, I saw some people today that I have not ever seen there before. Some vendors that I did not see there that I was kind of hoping to. There's one guy in particular who is a custom maker I was actually hoping to be able to sit down and talk to today, but he wasn't there this time. But other than that, that's it. So, what you thinking, kiddo? Anything? Any last thoughts, pen breaker?
So there was this one dude that ran this table. He had a dolphin pen. I don't know his name, but he had this like blue pen with a dolphin on it. Yes,
and I'm trying to remember the guy who was River City.
Wait.
I think it was River City Pens. Does that sound right?
Wait.
But anyway,
I'll check.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't take the time to Google it now.
Okay.
But
I know his first name was Rich.
Okay. So that was pretty cool. I saw a lot more custom makers there than I was used to this year.
There was like 4 or 5, maybe 6 custom makers.
Yep, there was a couple, several different guys.
Was there Wood Wonder people?
Yeah, Wood Wonders of North Carolina was there. Charlie Harvey, and there was Hardy Penwrights was there. River City Pens. Jim. You had FC was there. Franklin Christoph is usually there. But anyway, so there's more. There were of course a lot of vintage sellers that were there, and I didn't see a whole lot of vintage that. There was a lot of vintage. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't see a whole lot of vintage that interested me. And I was looking for. There's certain things I see that grab my attention. A Waterman 57 will definitely grab my attention, but. Anything with like a 7 nib and the band on it that's sitting there looks nice will get my attention, but there weren't as much variety in some of the vintage, and there were a few other even modern sellers that I didn't see there this time around, that I was actually looking for specifically because I know they carried some stuff that interested me in the years past. So, but anyway, I'm going to be checking out my new to me deco band, see how that writes. I'm sure Matthew wants me to ink up his lipstick in leather, what, L24?
Yep, L24 lips. Yeah, L24 lipstick.
Jim Hines pen.
With a Roshizuku purple.
That's just going to be bizarre, putting purple ink into a black and black, silver, and red pen.
I just like the ink. It's my favorite ink.
To each their own.
Yeah, and then again, I did some other word combos. I put blue ink and a orange pen.
That's not so bad, but I don't know.
Good.
Purple ink and a black and red pen.
It would look good.
Okay.
The black will blend good with the purple.
Well, anyway, that's it. It's time for us to stop talking and push stop. There's a little stop button here in our recorder. Hey, thanks for watching. And for those of you who saw us at the show today and said, hey, I love your videos, and recognize us and said, you know, I catch you when I can, but just plain, we're encouraging. Thank you. That actually means more than you can know. There's some days where I go, why bother? And there are other days where I run across people who are very kind and considerate. So that's it for us.
The fountain pen world is just nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of decent people, and that's we enjoyed fellowshipping with some. Of course, there's some that are always going to be, have all the personality of a plate of cold spaghetti, and but they've been that way ever since I've known them.
I'm not gonna say names, but
yeah. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot. We'll catch you all later.
See you next time.
And maybe we'll talk to you after the DC show with another walkthrough and another pen haul video. And be watching for the Jim Hines giveaway. I've got some Mike Green pen reviews coming up. I've got another vintage Schaefer. Let me call it vintage, but I've got another Schaefer video of another Schaefer pen that's here on my desk. A friend of mine, Dan, sent me some nibs for an Osmoroid, 4 different Osmoroid nibs, and I went ahead and dug out my Osmoroid and my vintage Osmoroid, and I'll be swapping out some of those nibs and seeing how those go. And but yeah, that little lightsaber toy here on my desk. There's always some Star Wars stuff laying around here. So, all right, y'all. Thanks for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you.